All right, if you're a developer, there's one question that's probably on your mind a lot lately. What is AI going to do to my job? Am I about to be replaced, or am I about to become some kind of coding superhero? Well, today we're going to cut through all that hype, all that fear, and get real about what your career actually looks like in 2030. And look, the scale of this thing, it's just staggering. We're talking about a projection where by 2030, just the productivity gains from AI in software development could add, get this, $1.5 trillion to the economy. That's not just a ripple, folks. That's a tidal wave. Okay, so $1 trillion is great, but what does that actually mean for you, for your day-to-day work, the skills you need, your career path? That's the real question, right? So let's break it down. We're going to tackle this in 5 key parts. First, we'll look at the trust gap with AI today. Then, we'll talk about what's next, AI agents. After that, we'll explore how your role shifts from coder to orchestrator. Fourth, what are the human skills that become even more important? And finally, we'll put it all together and see what your future role in tech really looks like. All right, first up, let's get grounded in reality. Where are we right now? Because there's this really interesting paradox playing out with developers and AI. It's all about how much we're using it versus how much we actually trust it. So on one hand, adoption is just exploding. I mean, the latest Stack Overflow survey shows that more than half of all professional developers are using AI tools every single day. It's becoming just another part of the standard toolkit, like your IDE or Git. But, and here's the twist, on the other hand, there's this huge trust gap. Look at these numbers. Way more developers actually distrust the accuracy of these tools than trust them. So we're using them, yeah, but with a very healthy dose of side-eye. And this slide tells us exactly why. The biggest frustration for a whopping 2/3 of developers is that AI-generated code that is almost right, but not quite. You know what I'm talking about. Those little subtle bugs that can take you longer to find and fix than if you'd just written the whole thing yourself from scratch. So this tension, right, between, wow, this is useful, and, ugh, this is so frustrating, that's exactly what's pushing us to the next big thing in AI. We're about to move beyond just simple assistance to something much, much more powerful, AI agents. Microsoft actually lays this out in a really cool 3-stage evolution. Stage 1, that's where we are now, human plus AI assistant. The AI suggests some code, helps with boilerplate, and you can focus more on design. But then, check out stage 2, human agent teams. This is where it gets interesting. Imagine an AI agent is literally a member of your team. Its job is to run all the tests and compliance checks automatically. You don't even have to ask. And then there's stage 3, human-led agent operated. This is the future. You give the high-level command, like, build me a new user profile page with these specs, and a whole team of agents does the coding, testing, and deployment. They only ping you when a major decision is needed. Okay, let's pump the brakes for a second. That agent-operated future sounds amazing, right? But we're not there yet. Not even close. The data is super clear on this. More than half of us are still way back in that assistant phase, just using the simpler tools. So, yeah, the future's coming, but it's still on the horizon. But as we do start moving toward that future, the fundamental job of a developer, it really starts to change. It becomes less about the code you can physically type and a whole lot more about the systems you can direct. And this slide just nails the pivot perfectly. Think about it. Back in, say, 2015, your value was all about how well you knew Python or JavaScript's syntax. But fast forward to 2030 and your primary language is just plain English. Your value isn't in writing the code, it's in defining the intent and then orchestrating the AI systems that do the actual building. This is what we mean when we say you become a strategic orchestrator. So what does that really mean day to day? Well, instead of spending your morning chasing down a bug in some function, you're thinking bigger. You're designing the system architecture. And then you tell your AI agent something like, hey, refactor the payment service to use this new API. Oh, and make sure we have 99% test coverage and flag any security risks you find. You see the difference? You're the architect, not just the person laying the bricks. Okay, so if AI is writing all the code, does that mean we're all out of a job? No, absolutely not. What it does mean is that our focus shifts. We get to spend our time on the stuff that's the most critical, the most high stakes, and honestly, the most interesting. I love this analogy from Forbes because it just perfectly explains why human oversight is never going away. Think of AI like electricity. It's totally transformational, right? But it's also incredibly dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
And organizations absolutely need people who know how to build the right safeguards to use it safely, especially when you're talking about security and risk.
And developers are on the same page. The survey data shows exactly where we still trust people over AI. When do we turn to another human? When we don't trust the AI's answer, when there are ethical or security concerns, when we need to truly understand something deeply, and when we're stuck on some really complex, gnarly code. We are the ultimate safety net for quality and judgment.
So the big takeaway here is pretty clear, right? The skills that are going to keep you essential for decades to come are the ones that are the absolute hardest to automate. We're talking big picture stuff: complex system design, security and threat modeling, ethical oversight, connecting the tech to the actual business goals, and, my personal favorite, creative problem solving for all those bizarre edge cases that every real-world system inevitably has.
Okay, let's bring it all together. What does this all mean? Look, this whole shift isn't about replacing developers. It's about evolving the job. And what's really exciting is that it's creating entirely new career paths that just a few years ago we couldn't have even imagined. And we're already seeing these new roles pop up. Things like prompt engineer, AI ethicist, ML ops engineer. You see the pattern here? All of these jobs are about supervising, guiding, and building with AI, not trying to compete against it. This is where all the new opportunities are.
So, if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this: the future is about being AI augmented, not AI replaced. The winning play is to become the person who can supervise the AI, improve its output, and give it the crucial business context it lacks. It's not you versus the machine. It's you with the machine. It's a partnership.
At the end of the day, the future of our craft is less about mastering syntax and way more about having vision. The most valuable skill is no longer writing that perfect line of code. It's about asking the right question. So the real question I want to leave you with is this: now that you have these incredible new powers, what are you going to build?